tough words on Zimbabwe came in Parliament yesterday when the Prime Minister was reporting back to the House about the recent European Council summit. He said the situation in Zimbabwe was one of the key subjects under discussion in Brussels and that since the meeting, the situation in Zimbabwe had deteriorated even further.
The European Council reiterated its readiness to take further measures against those responsible for violence. We will seek to impose travel and financial sanctions on those in the inner circle of the criminal cabal running the regime. The House knows that since the Council met last week, the situation has deteriorated further still. As a number of African presidents and ministers have already stated, the regime has made it impossible to hold free and fair elections in Zimbabwe, and state-sponsored terror and intimidation has put the opposition in an untenable position. Our thoughts are with the people of Zimbabwe, who are facing an unprecedented level of violence and intimidation from the regime. Mr. Speaker, the whole world is of one view, that the status quo cannot continue. The African Union has called for violence to end. The current government, with no parliamentary majority, having lost the first round of the presidential elections and holding power only because of violence and intimidation, is a regime that should not be recognised by anyone.
Mr. Brown said Britain would help in reconstruction once democracy was restored.
The international community must send a powerful and united message that we will not recognise the fraudulent election rigging and the violence and intimidation of a criminal and discredited cabal, and we are ready to offer substantial help to the reconstruction of Zimbabwe once democracy has been restored.
His stand on the Mugabe regime was fully supported by the Foreign Secretary.
I'm sure the whole House will unite in its condemnation of We do not, recognise the Mugabe government as the legitimate representative of the Zimbabwean people. We will not de-recognise the state of Zimbabwe, because that would mean the withdrawal of diplomatic representation and all that goes with it. But the Prime Minister could not have been clear that we do not believe that a government which has clubbed its way to victory and which has defied the Constitution, which requires a second round within 30 days of the first round of the election, can claim to be the legitimate representative of the Zimbabwean people. Zimbabwe does, however, need a broad-based government that commands the confidence of the majority of Zimbabweans. And in addition to stopping the violence, that must be the focus of regional and international efforts. Since the announcement yesterday, the Prime Minister, Lord Malloch-Brown and I have spoken to foreign ministers and key figures in Southern Africa and around the world. This is a crucial moment for democracy and prosperity right across Africa and the whole region. Ahead of the election, 40 senior Africans underlined their concern at the conditions in Zimbabwe. The AU, African Union Commission, has called for violence to end. The head of the Pan-African Parliamentary Observer Mission has said that violence was now at the top of the agenda of this electoral process. The Zambian President, Mwanawasa, who is currently chair of the Southern African Development Community, has said that, quote, the current political environment falls far short of SADC's principles and guidelines. He said yesterday, more strongly, that the situation in Zimbabwe was scandalous and that what was happening there was embarrassing to all Africans in the region.
Strong and powerful sentiments from the Foreign Secretary.
Britain has long and historic links with Zimbabwe. I have never believed that the rights and wrongs of our history should prevent us from speaking clearly and frankly about the situation today. Robert Mugabe's misrule does not invalidate the struggle for independence. Our colonial history does not mean we cannot denounce that which is wrong. The test at all times should be whether our commitment and action can help the people of Zimbabwe.
A forceful debate by any standards, and most likely not the last time Zimbabwe and its political future will come under the spotlight in this Parliament.